I love that book, the scenery, the islands, the descriptions. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing great, and today is another TBR video. I'm going to talk to you about all the books that I'm going to read in January 2024. That is so crazy to say. The year went by insanely fast. I cannot believe it, but here we are. The first book that I 100% going to read during the month of January is right here. House of Earth and Blob by Sarah J.Maas. I need to reread this in preparation for the House of Flame and Shadow. I cannot believe that we are going to get that book in like 5 weeks or so. I am so excited and pumped to read that book. So yeah, I want to reread this. I have it on audio, and of course I want to follow with the physical book. And maybe I'm thinking of also rereading House of Sky and Breath. I already reread that book last year, so I don't know. Maybe I will reread it, maybe not, because I think it's still pretty fresh in my mind. But it's been a long time since I read this. So yeah, I think if I finish my January TBR and I still have time, I will definitely reread that one. And I don't mind spending extra time with these characters, so it will be fun. And I also wanted to mention something. If you've never read a Sarah J.Maas book before and you feel overwhelmed by the series and all the books that she has out, my opinion is this. Start with the ACOTAR series, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses series. You have 5 books there. And then read Throne of Glass series. You have 8 books in that series. And in my humble personal opinion, you should start with the Assassin's Blade to get the better experience with the whole series. And then finally read the Crescent City books. That's my own opinion. That's how I would do it. And brace yourself, because these books are about to change your life, your personality. You will get the wildest ride of your life, and they are just phenomenal books. Highly recommend them. If you didn't read them yet, welcome to the Maas world. Okay, the second book that I want to read is a sequel of a book that I am reading in December, which is Only a Monster. The sequel is called Never a Hero. This is a YA urban fantasy romance, and I cannot tell you about this book, but I can tell you about the first book. In the first book, we follow Joan. During the summer, went to stay at her late mother's eccentric family, and she suddenly learns the truth that her family aren't just bizarre, they are monsters with terrifying hidden powers. And Nick, her co-worker, isn't just a boy that she thought was cute. He's a legendary monster slayer who will do anything to bring them down. And the story develops from there. I was attracted to this book because it has those dark romantic elements to it. And there was also, I love time travel fantasy, and this has time travel and also fascinating historical details of England. And not only that, but our main female character is the anti-hero, which is so unusual, so unique. So yeah, this sounded very different to me, and that's what attracted me to this series basically. And I cannot wait to get to the sequel. The next book is The Last Storm by J.G. Linton. This is an adult fantasy romance, and this was brought to my attention by Bookstagram. I was influenced by all the incredible reels and lines that the author was sharing, and I decided I really want to know what is going on in this story. And also book 2 is already out, so if I enjoy book 1, I can dive straight into the sequel, which is awesome because I love to binge read series. And what I gathered is in this book we follow Ara, who is a human and is struggling because she's living under her controlling father, who is the general of their kingdom. The kingdom is called Orina, and she's been locked away in this estate as he's determined to protect her from the Fae across the border. But after her birthday, he decides it's time to marry her off to a man she's never met met before. On the other side, we have the Fey Kingdom, and there we follow Rogue, who is the prince, and he was raised in a very tough and ruthless way by his father, who never showed him kindness. Now that his father, the king, is dead, the crown has been thrust upon him, and it's his responsibility to save his people from the wrath of Orina, which is Ara's kingdom. And it's for that reason that he crosses the border into Orina to spy on the court in the capital for like secrets and leverage and anything that could help his kingdom. And our story begins when Rogue lays eyes on Ara. I cannot wait to dive into this world. I am so hyped. The reels were phenomenal, incredible. It really made me want to pick up the book right away. I heard that the banter and the tension are incredible, and it just makes me so excited. So this is going on my January TBR. Okay, next up is a sequel of a book I read in November, The Traitor Queen. It's the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom, and I have this on my Kindle, and I'm also going to listen to it on Audible because I enjoyed the audiobook of The Bridge Kingdom a lot. They have all those sound effects that made the experience even better. I highly recommend the audiobook for The Bridge Kingdom. So I'm going to pair my ebook with my audiobook, and I loved the first book. It's an adult fantasy romance. I gave it 4 stars. I know I'm late to the party, but I finally read it and enjoyed it a lot, and I'm going to continue on with the whole series of The Bridge Kingdom. In the first book, we follow Lara, who has been trained to become a spy and an assassin, specifically to infiltrate the Bridge Kingdom by marrying their king. And then her goal was to spy on him and eventually kill him. I love that book. The scenery, the islands, the descriptions, the vibes, everything. When the storms hit, it feels so cozy to read it during the winter time. And I cannot wait to read the sequel. It ended on a cliffhanger, and I really want to know what's going to happen. And yeah, I'm so excited to pick this book up, and definitely, as I said, going to read the whole series. Even though it's going to be a long one, there are already 4 books out and 1 novella, and 2 more books are coming in the future. But as I said before, if the books are good, I have no problem with reading a long series. I will enjoy every bit of it, and I will ask for more. So yeah, The Traitor Queen is definitely going on my January TBR. The next book that I'm going to read was on my 8 books that I wanted to read before the end of the year video, and I just didn't get to it, but it's time. It's time to begin this series. It is the Remnant Chronicles series, and I cannot wait to start this journey. And the first book is, of course, The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. It's a YA fantasy romance. And in this book, we follow Princess Leia. She's the first daughter, and she's expected to have the revered gift of sight, but she doesn't. And her parents are kind of disappointed, and they arrange her marriage to a prince she's never seen before. And before the wedding, she decided to flee to a distant village, and an assassin was sent to track her and kill her. And also, the angry prince who she refused to get married to is also trying to track her down. And of course, the story develops from there. I didn't want to go into details while reading the synopsis for this book. I just want to be surprised. So yeah, I think there are like secrets to uncover, and like we have, of course, a love story, and I cannot wait to read this series because I heard only great things about it. So yeah, 2024 will be the year where I read the Remnant Chronicles and hopefully continue with the rest of the spin-off series that they have. And the next one is a series that I'm also going to start and finish hopefully in 2024. Vampire Academy. I also want to be a part of the fandom. I want to read these books and understand what the hype is about. This is a YA paranormal romance, and of course we have vampires, as the title suggests. We follow Rose, and she's the bodyguard of Lisa. I think Lisa is a vampire princess or something like that. And they attend school for vampire royalty, and Rose must help her to keep out of the clutches of a dangerous group of vampires who never dies, I think. And we follow Rose and Lisa as they navigate the academy and the drama and the action And I guess there is an enemies to lovers involved. I don't know if this is comparable to the Vampire Diaries. I didn't read the Vampire Diaries books, but I watched the show and I really enjoyed it. So from what I've heard, it's a bit cheesy, and I mean, of course it is. It was published in 2007. The first book was published in 2007. So we kind of expect that. But I'm here for the fun, goofy time. Okay, the next book is The Forest Grimm. We got this book in Fairy Loot's October box, I believe. It is a YA fantasy romance and is a retelling of The Little Red Riding Hood, but with gothic elements and a darker theme and twists. So I'm very excited for that. I think we have a forest that's called the Midnight Forest with like deadly creatures and fortune-telling cards. And in this story, we follow Clara, whose grandmother is a fortune teller, and she had a vision that Clara would die when she is 17. And Clara now is 17, and she embarks on a journey with her friend Axel into the deadly forest Grimm to procure a magical book that is supposed to have the power to reverse the curse on her village and also save her mother. And the story of this book that she is looking for is that a long time ago, villagers whispered their deepest desires to this book, and its pages revealed how to obtain them. All was well until someone used the book for an evil purpose. He wanted to kill another person. And afterwards, the branches of the forest Grimm snatched the book away, and the village got cursed. And the villagers tried to make amends with the forest, but every time someone crossed its border, they never returned. And I think the forest has like a mind of its own. It's kind of alive. And I cannot wait to read this book. A lot of people already read it and enjoyed it a lot. And I really love a YA fantasy retelling, so I'm definitely going to pick this one up. Next book is Gravebriar. This is a YA fantasy romance with witches. I already told you that I'm itching to read this book when I did my haul because of the couple in this book that got compared to Aladdin Lorcan. In this book, we have a protagonist. She's a witch and she has been accused of poisoning her Gravebriar coven mate. And the problem is she cannot prove her innocence without revealing her long-kept secret. That every other Gravebriar witch are green witches and healers, but our protagonist's magic lies in poison. And there is only one witch who believes her, but he's the same person who was sent to kill her. He claims that the witches are plotting her death and that he can help her hide in a circus full of witches, but the ringmaster of the circus would only keep them if they agree to entertain his patrons using their magic. And in exchange of their participation, he will give them what they need to save her coven mate and clear her name. I adore books that have a carnival setting and like magical vibes, like the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. And as I said, I'm excited to see what the romance will look like. So yeah, I had to add this to my January TBR, and it's also a standalone and not that long too, and I cannot wait to read it and tell you about it. And that was my last book for my January TBR. Tell me about the books that you plan to read during the next month. And if you made it this far, leave me the witch emoji. And if you like the video, please subscribe so we can become book besties. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!